Yo, what up YouTube? So I just got finished riding Mount Wilson, and I wanted to do a video on my new rack. It's the one up, and I'm gonna compare it to my old rack, which was the Kuat.
Oh shit!
Today I just got a package in right there that is from One Up USA. So I want to do a comparison video between this rack, the One Up bike rack, and versus my old rack, which is the Kuat NV 2.0. I think these are the two best bike racks on the market. I had a hard time deciding which one to go with. When I was searching online to find like a comparison video, I didn't see anything, so I wanted to do something. So hope you dig it. Really nice finish. This is all 100% aluminum. Alright, so here's a rack. It's pretty light. I think it's only 23 pounds. So this is the add-on. This is actually, I believe, only 18 pounds. Alright, so we're done. All I did was use the Allen wrench that was provided to put in these two bolts right here, and it mounted the add-on to the main rack, and that's it. Now this is a 2-bike rack. It's perfect. So the main reason why I got this rack is because my Escalade was a 2-inch hitch, and the new car I got, the RDX, is only a 1 1/4 inch hitch. This bike rack can be used as a 2-inch rack, like the way it would be right here. So in order to use this rack as a 1 1/4 versus a 2, we just need to take this off. And that's it. So now this will fit into my RDX. This is a rack. It's pretty cool. So I'll show you, and I'll do a comparison with the Kuat to show how it goes onto the car, how the bike gets onto the rack, how it's secured, the things I like about this rack versus the Kuat, and the things I like more about the Kuat versus this rack. So here's my old rack. This is the Kuat, and then my new rack. What I really like about it, it can be a 1-bike rack or a 2-bike rack, and they come in separate boxes, which is cool because and it fits right underneath my cabinets. So this is the one box, and then that one's the second box, and then I'll show you what it looks like putting it on the car. So the rack comes out of the box like this, really small, and then you just open these two blue latches. Put it right here. Once you have it in, and you're just gonna use this Allen key, and then you twist it on. And when you twist this in, that ball is gonna get pushed up against inside of that hitch. Well, let me just show you. When it's not pushed in, it will shake. It's very loose, and this is how most bike racks are like that. I had a couple before that were kind of cheap, sketchy. So this, once it's tightened, it's solid. It's not gonna move, so it's like super solid. It doesn't have the lock thing here. It has this like pretty sketchy Velcro strap that it's supposed to hold this on. I mean, I think it's pretty sketchy, but I mean, I don't think this is gonna fall off regardless. There's a security thing, because anybody that has this Allen, I mean, it's proprietary, it's a security Allen. Anybody that has this can steal your rack or take it off. So you could buy one of these, which I did. It's a security. So you put the key in at the top, and then it actually screws in, and it will only screw in if the key is inside. So you just screw it in like this, and once it's screwed in, you take the key out, close it, and now if you can see, the Allen wrench cannot go in So this is the one rack by itself, and this is why I bought this rack. Personally, I like the fact that it's only, I could use it as a one rack. My old Kuat is a double, and when I had it up, it will block the bumper. This rack, even when it's folded, you can fold it like this, or fold it all the way like that, and it tucks underneath the bumper, super clean. My rear reverse camera is right here. It doesn't block any of the views, and most importantly, I have full access to my trunk, so I can open it and it doesn't get in the way. I own a restaurant, and I go to the market, a grocery store, like 3 times a week to get supplies. I fill up the trunk, and a lot of stuff I buy is super heavy, so getting it in and out with the old rack, I would have to put the rack down to open up the rear hatch, and I don't have to worry about that with this. So the next thing is I'm gonna go ahead and put the second rack on. So to open and close the levers, you're gonna pull this up like that, and that will do that. So this is where it bolts onto the second rack. So you just take these things out, and there's 2 bolts that go on. Actually, before I do that, I can show you what it looks like with just one bike on there. I always put the back tire in first, then the second tire, and that's it. What's really cool is that the only thing that this rack touches is your tires. It doesn't even touch your rims. It doesn't touch your fork. The Kuat, it actually clamps right here, and it hits your fork, and the other straps around your rim. This is what the rack looks like with just one bike on it. And like I said, this is the main reason why I bought this rack, is the option to have one rack on there and have access to my car and leave this rack on my car all the time. It just makes life a lot easier. If you're the type of person that takes your rack on and off, then this probably wouldn't matter to you. It just becomes preference of the rack. So I'll go ahead and add the second rack on and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I just pulled this rack out of the box. This is what it looks like. Same thing, you're just gonna pull these blue levers and pull the rack out, and then we're gonna bolt it on with these 2 bolts, and they go right here. Let me show you what the rack looks like with both the racks on. It's really small and compact. You just pull this lever and bring it out. So this is the issue with having both racks on. Obviously cannot open up my trunk with it on this way, but I could, if I to lower it. I can lower this like the halfway mark, and it will open. So that works. So here's my main issue with having 2 bike racks on and getting access to my trunk. To lift heavy stuff, the rack would get in the way like this. I just prefer having the one rack on there. Just a lot easier to have access to my trunk. Okay, so I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to load up 2 bikes on this rack. So both bikes go on, no issues, no problems. The one up can carry bikes up to 50 pounds each. So if you the cool thing about this rack, I can keep adding on more. So I could add up to 4 racks on here and 4 bikes. It can hold up to 4 bikes at 50 pounds max, so 200 pounds. So that's pretty awesome. I mean, this thing's solid aluminum. So total, it's only 41 pounds for the rack. Okay, as far as security goes on this rack, of nobody stealing your bike rack, but there's no security cable that is attached to the rack itself. That's one thing that I really missed about my Kuat. I still can get access to my trunk with both bikes on there. I would just need to tilt this down, and I'll show you how that works. In order to open up or lean the rack, you're gonna pull that lever, and then it will lean down like this. And then that's how the bike rack would look, and then you still have access to the trunk. The trunk opens up no problem. To get access, this is a little bit tricky. Getting access with this rack, like tilting it back and forth with both bikes on it, I would say that the Kuat is a lot easier to maneuver. So I'm gonna take the one-up rack off, and I'm gonna put the Kuat rack on. So the reason why I had to buy a new rack is that my Kuat is a 2-inch, requires a 2-inch hitch like this size, and my RDX is like a 1 1/4 like this size. So this is a 1 1/4 to 2-inch adapter. So I'm just gonna put it on so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so the Kuat also has that ball pin right there at the bottom, and when it goes in, you're gonna twist this, and it will tighten it and also prevent it from moving. The Kuat rack is 53 pounds total, so it is a little bit heavier than the one-up rack. As far as like looks of it, it's preference. I personally really like the look of the Kuat, like the paint. I've left this on my Escalade for I believe 4 or 5 years, and everything looks good. Because I was looking at the one-up 4 years ago. It was between this and the one-up. The main reason why I bought the Kuat versus the one-up is this. This is a bike stand, so you could put your bike on it like this. This clamps onto the frame. So let's say prior to a race or between laps you need to do some maintenance on your bike, then and you're out on the trail head, you could just throw your bike on there like this and clamp it down, and you basically have a bike stand, which is really cool. I'll be honest with you, I've only used this a handful of times. Like for me, I'm a free rider, so I don't race. If I do anything to my bike at the trailhead, it's gonna be lubing my chain, but I do most of that stuff when I get home after the ride. I just got finished riding today, so I haven't cleaned up the bike, but I'll normally wipe it down with some SSB, and then I'll lube the chain. One thing that I didn't like about this rack is because it's a 2 rack, I can't open the trunk, so I have no access to it. Lifting stuff in and out of the car was extremely hard. This rack actually goes a little bit higher than the one-up, so it's harder to get stuff in and out even with it up like this. So I'll put the 2 bikes on there. I'll show you how easy it is to load the bikes up. And then to bring the rack down, this is the lever. I personally think this is a lot easier than the one-up lever that you pull in, and it could be that I'm just not used to the one-up lever. And this goes down like that, and you add the bikes on. I'll show how easy it is. So as far as the Kuat, the maximum weight per bike is 60 pounds. So it can handle a little bit heavier bikes. So people that have e-bikes and things like that, if it's over 50 pounds, then they do make a one-up rack that is a Super Duty for heavier bikes. My bikes are lighter. The Kuat does have an add-on, only on a 2-inch. It doesn't have an add-on a 1 1/4 hitch. So you would take this off and it would add on another double like this. So it'll be a 4 bike rack like that. One thing that I like about the Kuat is this locks into the hitch. With the one-up you can't seal it with the security lock, but this is so much easier to take on and off. The other big thing that I really like, this comes in handy, is the cable. It comes out of here, and this one goes here. This cable, personally, I think it's too short, because I mean, you want to lock your frame and you can't really stick the cable through 2 frames. Well, my 2 frames you can't. It won't work, so it's too short. The way you lock 2 bikes up is you just gotta go through the rear tires that way. And I mean, it works. It prevents people from stealing it. I still have access to the trunk. With this rack, I can tilt this rack down just like I can with the 1-up. That. The rack is lean and I can open up the trunk. But to push it up is a lot easier because you have the arm here. And you can lock that in place. Like security, cable things, that for sure the Kuat is better at. As far as looks, that's subjective, that's up to you what you like the looks of better. If you need like a bike stand, then I would definitely say get the Kuat. The main thing about the 1-up is that you could do add-ons. You could do 1 rack, 2 racks, 3 racks, or 4 racks, which I think is awesome. I have a lot of friends that have the 1-up rack, so 2 bike racks on my rack, and then my buddy could bring his add-on and then add it on to my rack. You know, we have a 4th buddy, he could add on a 4th rack. That's the main reason why I went with the 1-up rack. So that's my comparison between the Kuat and the 1-up. In my opinion, these are the 2 best racks out there on the market. They have the pros and cons. It comes down to preference. Oh, let me show you. To get the bikes on and off, you're gonna push on this lever and pull up. Now this lever sometimes it has got stuck if I push it down too hard and it gets stuck. The one thing that I don't like about the Kuat versus the 1-up is that this plastic, everything on the 1-up is aluminum. This thing scrapes and rubs on your fork. But sometimes you push down too hard, this thing gets really hard to push out. But that's what you do. And then this is another plastic piece. With this rack, my bike doesn't fit the same. I have to put my seat down. Like all these scratches, like going that way, it's all from this rack, and it scratched it up. So that kind of hurt. I hope this helps you out. Again, these are, in my opinion, the 2 best racks on the market. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I'll answer the best that I can. Peace out.